Without further delay, I'd like to go and tackle in what LinkedIn is all about. Now, my name is Sweta Regmi. I'm one of the founder and CEO for Teach and Do, and I work with as a career consultant for job seekers. And I train them, I teach them everything about when it comes to job searching strategies. Now, I wanted to go into the little bit of details on how Teach and Do was born. So I was a hiring manager in a corporate role for more than 13 years, and I got laid off after 12 years, and I became a job seeker. And it was very hard for me to get back to the workforce. The things that I thought I knew about LinkedIn and everything, I probably had no idea how to use it properly. So when I started working through LinkedIn personal branding and reaching out to the hiring managers, I developed the strategies, job search strategies, and I thought, okay, you know what, this is it. I figured it out. I've tapped into the hidden job market out there without even applying online. So I developed the framework, and LinkedIn was a huge part of that. And then I started getting offers, multiple information interviews, and I even negotiated offers. So I figured it out. Now imagine, I was a hiring manager. I used to screen those resumes. I knew all about networking, but what I failed to understand was, you know what, it's nothing like that when you become a job seeker, because no one teaches you what you should do when you want that job. So I'm going to show you some of the strategies you can apply today and see if you can get those hiring manager to look at your profile and bypass that resume, bypass that tool online, so you can directly impact decision maker when you want that particular role. So, and then what happened was I eventually got a job in a leadership role in bank again, and I resigned because I was not happy about what I was doing. I was making billions of dollars for bank, but I was not impacting other people's life. Now, for those of you who are a job seeker right now, I completely get you, what you're feeling right now. I've been there. I have empathy and sympathy for you guys. Probably your self-esteem is really low, and I was one of them, and probably your confidence is really, really low right now. And you might be thinking, oh my God, I am nothing without that title. But if you do the right thing, if you have the right strategies, trust me, you are going to land where you are supposed to land. And I was one of those. And I'll teach you something. You can walk away with it today. And hopefully you can learn so many things by using the right strategies, okay? So I know like a lot of people right now who are watching me from different part of world, you know, LinkedIn is worldwide, and that's a good news. And a lot of people are using LinkedIn, and guess what? It's not only about a lot of people. It's about who's using LinkedIn. And you know what? A lot of people, decision maker, bosses, your future boss, your future employers are watching you right now. If you are doing the right thing, you're going to pop out in their mind, and you are going to stand out. It's all about building your personal brand when it comes to LinkedIn. And it's all about using the right tool and optimizing your LinkedIn. So we're going to go through that step by step. And if you don't have a LinkedIn, guys, you should, because as a part of, looking for a job, if you're just applying online with a resume, it's not working, and it's not going to work, because it's all about networking and reaching to the right people. You have to bypass that resume scanning tool, which is ATS, applicant tracking system, to make sure that you stand out, and you can bypass that only if you use the LinkedIn properly. And trust me, most of the job and information interviews I got was jobs were not even posted. I already had a targeted employers and bosses, my future employers, from LinkedIn. I got many of those just because I did not want to apply online. And I went in and did whole different strategies around how to network on LinkedIn and how do I optimize the LinkedIn profile. Now, before I start with the LinkedIn, I want to show you. You could be this right there. You could have your post trending. You could have engagement, huge engagement and everything when it comes to LinkedIn. The only thing is you have to engage. You have to share your stories. You have to share the content that you're targeting to your market. Now, LinkedIn, I started being active on LinkedIn only 6 months ago. As a job seeker, I was a lurker, meaning I would just like it, or I would reach out to the decision maker. That was my target by networking offline, but I was not hugely engaging on LinkedIn at all. Yes, here and there I would engage, but I would lurk. I would just like, but you have to engage to stand out, but you have to have a quality comments. And this didn't take me years. It took me 6 months to get where I am today. I started with 500 followers 6 months ago. Guess what? I'm going to be almost 36,000 today. Probably like, in a couple of days, I'll be at 36,000 followers. And again, it's not about getting a follower. It's about people noticing you and standing out, noticing the impact of it. So what? You have a job, you're a job seeker. You might have something, you stand out. Everyone has something. Everyone has their personal brand. And you have to go out there and focus on that market. So let's say that you are subject matter expert. You used to be subject matter expert on certain things, right? You start writing those things and holding people accountable. Hey, what are you going to do about it? I noticed some of the loophole in the system. I have this proposal. I have the solution for you, right? And start engaging and writing those contents if you want to get into that industry, if you want to get into the line of business. And people are going to start to notice you just because you're engaging and you're trying to also on the side build a personal brand. And this, in 6 months from now, if you do it the right way, you would end up just like that. And trust me, I never thought that I would be right here, but I am there. So now when it comes to, LinkedIn, you have to make sure that you are focusing on all the information you're supposed to. Do not leave anything blank. You have to have a current, role, whatever you're working on. You have to have, the postal code and industry and whatever, the country. I mean, if recruiters are looking at you, what are they searching? They're searching based on country and based on the city, right? So, I mean, I see a lot of people putting other as, country. That's not going to work. You're not going to stand out in there. You're not going to be popping out on their recruiting, the tool. So the other thing is you must have 50 connections to end up in All-Star. Have a professional picture. You don't want to probably put dog's picture or pictures with dogs or cat. As much as we all love our pet and kids and whatnot, you want to look professional in a professional attire as well, right? And then also you want to put whatever role you worked on it and add skills as well. That's very, very crucial because recruiters are looking through the skills, and we're going to go through the detail later on. Of course, adding the educations, it's a must as well, right? So good thing about LinkedIn is you don't have to keep on seeing if you're all-star or not. It would give you that all-star sticker right there once you complete it anyway. Sonia, you can hear me correctly, right? Sonia?
Yep.
Oh, perfect. I was like, I was just talking. Okay. So, all right, what are the important sections? These are really, really crucial thing. I mean, when someone looks at your LinkedIn profile, what do they look at? That's exactly what they see. And what you want to do is the background picture, you don't want to leave it blank. A lot of people leave it blank thinking that it serves no purpose just because you're a job seeker. Yes, I am a consultant. I'd like to market my product and I'd like them to know that this is what I do. But as a job seeker as well, you'd like to market yourself based on the industry that you're looking for. Anything, any keywords, anything like that. Although it's not going to end up in recruiter search, but you know what? People who are going to like that background, they already like you, right? So it's all about personal brand and presentation. People need to know who you are just by looking at you. And the picture is the must. And again, we all know what professional picture looks like. Be very cautious about it. And then contact info, right there. And we're going to go through a little bit of headings on next slide. But the contact information is the must as well. Don't, be easily available for those people who want to talk to you, because humans' brain just works for 5 to 10 minutes. If they want to talk to you right now, they want to talk to you right now. Don't make them go and look for it all, or not, you got to make sure you put the smart strategy when you're putting the contact information. Where you put it matters as well. Maybe on the first line, or maybe not on the last, because you got to strategize those where it goes as well, right? So the quick tips for you is if you guys use the Canva, that's perfect. Probably background picture is a little bit, every social media has different sizing when it comes to background picture. What I do is I do use Canva, canva.com, and you can use that as well for background, and sizes would be 1584 by 396. You can go ahead and use it and try working with a different banner. It's super cool and it's really easy. It looks professional as well. So we're going to talk about the headline, and this is really, really crucial part when it comes to LinkedIn. Now, you want to basically, there are people that are going to put the company they're working with it right now, or a company they worked with in the past. Everything needs to be taken off from there. Basically, on the headline right there, you are targeting the future roles and you are speaking the value you bring to the future employers, right? So or even certification if you want to. So value that you bring in. So when recruiters are searching with the skills and the title. Just think about it. If you're looking at the job, if you want that particular job, right? What do you look at when you go to Google? You search the title, right? That's exactly what you're putting. And then you want to bring in the value as well. And you can research all the skills and everything. We're going to go next slide right now, how easy it is to add in. And it just has a space limit as well. And make sure you're cautious about it. But I would definitely avoid fluffy things like result-oriented, hard worker, stuff like that, because no one searches you with that soft skills, right? People are basically going to you're going to probably put hard skills on it. Now, also the second part is when people are looking at you, it's like a story, right? You're reading the book you're reading. If you don't like the first second line, you're kind of like, you know what, it's boring. I'm not going to go with the second page. I'm done with this, right? Exactly the same way. I mean, if people like you on profile already, the banner and picture, you know what, if your about section is super cool and feel like, you know what, this guy probably could do something for me, you want to put the hook, like hook line right there in about section, because it has a limited character right there. So you want to put everything in there where when people are looking at it, they want to scroll that, see more, and you have to get to it. It's kind of like optimizing your personal brand right there. It's why would someone want to read other part of it? If they don't like it, then why would I even bother going down, right? So it's just speak what you want to bring and what your expertise are. You can put the hard skills, you can put the soft skills, which does matter in the industry. Avoid, again, detail-oriented, result-oriented, passionate, accomplished, experience, I would avoid that, but be very strategic about it when it comes to about sections. And the other thing is, if you've gotten any awards or certificates, anything like that, you can probably highlight it there as well. And it would, so people would not have to scroll down. So basically, whatever is important to you and whatever you think the next job title wants, you're standing out on right there. And then this is really crucial. You probably, I will talk about, making sure that you add the skills, but sometimes you probably will not know what skills are needed for that, right? You can go, there are a couple of websites you can go and search in. Carmen.co is one of them. You can go and then put your job title, whatever you're targeting, and it spits out the hard skills and soft skills. And then wordclouds.com as well. You can copy and paste the job descriptions on it. It spits out, usually larger fonts are the keyword. And that's your keyword. And then recruiting.net is really crucial one for you. The reason being is if you have a basic LinkedIn, platform, because it limits you from search. You only have a certain amount of search per month. So if you want to get away with it, recruiting.net is the one you can search through title. And then what happens is you can go and look at the people skilled in there and then compare it if you're on the right one. So it gives you everyone who is on a LinkedIn based on that title. And it's super cool. So that way it's kind of like LinkedIn hack. You don't have to go and stalk everyone if you don't want to. You just stalk from Google and go inside only if you want to. So experience, obviously, those are the keywords that you're going to put it in there. Experience, you're going to put accomplishment stories. And again, guys, LinkedIn is not about, copying and pasting your resume. It's about standing out, the accomplishment stories and stuff like the dollar you saved and the cost reductions and any impact that you made in the previous role has to go there, but it has to stand out. But I would not suggest you to copy and paste it. Just put crisp, like a couple of bullet points, but avoid info dumping in there, because again, 10 second, you got 5-10 second for each, right? So can you read all those at one shot? Probably not. So you got to be you got to put strategy in there, and you got to put all the keywords and the skills for the job that you're targeting. And LinkedIn is not the resume. I would not suggest you to put that as a resume in there. LinkedIn is all about how you're standing out, and it's all about personal brand. If person likes you. Obviously, honors and awards, you can go ahead and put it in there, celebrate that, don't miss that step. In languages in Canada, French is something like, you probably want to put it in there if you know it, or specific job industry where you feel like the different languages that you have might be assets, go ahead and put it in there. And recruiters could potentially search you with the language as well, if you have a specific language for that particular job title. And the other thing is, projects, especially projects would apply to the students. And if you've done any projects or a consulting person, whoever is looking for a consulting project, anything like that, you can put it in there as well. And this is my favorite interest, right? And you might not think that, why is it, why do we need to follow the targeted company? You know what? First of all, is if you're you should be targeting the companies that you want to work for. That's a part of job search strategy anyway. And you want to follow it, and you will get the alert as well from it, and also try to engage with them on a social media page. Basically, I've done that as a job seeker. I would engage on the social media page, and I would try to put the valuable comments, and maybe I was a customer at some point, or maybe my mutual friend was customer at some point, and I would reach out to the social media person and ask them, hey, what's the application process? Where do you post your job? And normally, when do you post it? Because a lot of companies, they post around Thursday or Fridays, or they have a different platform where they use it as a primary job posting site. So you can build a relationship with that person. Again, it's an information interview over online. Hey, what's the chances that they're going to say no? If they say no, then that's okay, but you've tried it, right? And follow the targeted company because of that as well. On top of it, you'll be on top of things they're doing as well. If you have an interview, anything like that, you can talk about it. And companies seem to love it when they already have a people who believe in them as well, right? So that's the strategy for you as well. So this is really crucial, guys. Out of all the LinkedIn, right? This skills, that's where you got to go and modify it. And you got to just put everything that you're targeting for future. This has 50 skills limit on it. You can do whatever you want to, but if you're not adding right skills in there, you're not going to end up in recruiters search, because that's what they are going to look it up based on the title and the skills. We talked about it, remember? So you have to make sure you go and you probably have a lot of clutters, right? You want to clean it. The skills that you don't want it, I would not suggest you to have it, even if you have a high, like maybe you've have been endorsed by so many people. Do you really want to show that? Do you really want to show that something that you're no longer part of it, right? You don't want to do that. So go ahead and update your skills, and honestly, trust me, it's going to work. So recommendation, if you have any recommendations as well, you can go ahead and ask people later on. So when you go in there, we're going to go into the recommendation part later on. That sure, go and ask your boss or colleagues or anyone that you worked in the project. They liked you, whatever it is. You have a good vibe. You work together in a very good manner. Go ahead and ask for recommendations, right? But stop asking for recommendation if you just met them online on LinkedIn. That's not fair. Recommendations are usually from your people who have seen your work. And I cannot stress this enough, that I still see people are having non-customized LinkedIn profile. Just go ahead and put it as custom LinkedIn profile, because that's going to go to resume on top of it, right? So it looks very ugly if you have numbers in there. It's pretty super simple. And some people, what they also do is, if you're CPA certified or something like that, they would put CPA right after their name as well, or anything they want to highlight the certificate or MBA, whatever it is. They have done that as well. Do whatever works for you, but don't put the numbers in there. And this is the most crucial part. I see so many people going in there and putting, actively looking for work. Oh my God, no, that should not be the one. You know why? Because no one in the world as a recruiters are going to search as who's actively looking for a job. They want the skills, they want the job title they want to offer. So you want to avoid including the headline, actively looking, O&O, or seeking for new opportunities, because you're not doing a justice to your profile, because that's not your brand. Is that your brand? You're actively looking? No. You want to tell people who are you. You're speaking. You're not actively looking. You can offer this, bring a value, right? So avoid that. And then when it comes to experience section, because you don't have a job right now on a current title, and what happens is, if you leave that blank and if you don't update it, you are not going to end up in recruiter's profile. LinkedIn gives more scoring point to those people who have a current title. So you don't want to leave that blank. You want to update that with whatever you're doing. One of the example would be, directors of healthcare, if you're targeting that unit, or an experience related with the past. And again, accomplishment stories. What are the key words for that particular role? Put it in there as well. And what are the values that you want to bring in from past role to that job title that you want to target? So you want to put in there. Or you can put the volunteering activities you're working through it, so that it does not look like you have a gap. You're actually doing something for community as well, or courses as well. You can put whatever you like it, and then support it with this is how the gap is being treated as, because let's put it that way, everyone looks for the gap and you cannot avoid it, but there's a strategy you can put it to make it look like you're doing something, right? So again, and the other thing is for executive, if any executive members are watching, the board of directors, being in a part of board of director, or if you're executive, that's huge. That's whenever you're applying for executive roles, being in some kind of organization as a member, or board of directors is a must as well. So you would probably add board of directors on top of it, or if you're doing consulting as well, put it in there as well, so it makes it look like you're still active. And then again, target the location you want as well, right? So, don't forget that. The location is really crucial because you are being searched based on the location. So don't be vague about it. So for example, some people, what they tend to do is Canada. I mean, yeah, Canada, but you know what? Recruiters are looking just like a resume, which is you want to probably be specific. So if some of you who are looking in the different part of city, Greater Toronto area, which is Toronto, not Brampton or Mississauga, I would stay away from that smaller city, just Toronto, GTA area. So probably that covers everything. Whoever's looking at you in Brampton, you're going to end up in their search as well. They're not going to search Brampton. They're going to search Toronto, right? So be very specific when it comes to targeting the locations as well, so you can end up. And this is how you know that you're doing the right thing, is when people are looking at you, it's going to be trending up. So you know that some people are looking at your profile, so it needs to go up, and you would see who is it looking. Next slide is recruiters should be the #1 person who is looking. Okay, so then the keyword, you have used the right keyword properly is when you see the keyword right there. For me, career consultant, writer, coach, consultant, hiring manager, perfect. I mean, that works for me. But go back and see it and tweak it every week if you want to, and see if you want to be shown with that keyword. What are the examples? It's really, really sensitive when it comes to keyword in LinkedIn. I tried doing something. I try to test it on my own. So I think a couple of months ago, I put my headline as "I build confidence for job seekers." And after a week, guess what? On a keyword right there underneath it, I ended up in the search keyword, which is builder, or director in construction. Can you believe that? It's so sensitive. So do I want to be known as that? No. So I went back immediately and changed it. So if you don't like that keyword, and if it's not a part of your goal, then you must go back and revisit it as well. And that's a crucial thing for you to watch out. And for those of you, who are looking for, I'm pretty sure there's a feature on LinkedIn, most of you know. If you don't know, then you can alert the recruiter you're looking for a job, and you do have an option to hide it for other people, but just open it for recruiters only. And that's where you target the job title and the locations and everything. And those are, use the keyword and key title that you want as well, and change that to yes. And let the recruiters know from that behind the scene. And if you don't want anyone to know except the recruiter, for those of you who are still currently employed, but you don't want your manager or colleagues to know that you're actively looking, then probably this is the right way to go about doing it. Just letting the recruiters know, so no one can actually look at it. But LinkedIn has a disclosure. You might have a recruiter in the same company looking for it, and you might be popping up in there as well, right? There's no guarantee. That's what the disclaimer is all about. I'll leave that to you, how you wanna search your job. Now, this is really crucial, guys. I know LinkedIn is a job searching platform. Everyone loves LinkedIn, and if you're applying for it, Easy applies the option. You can pick it and you can turn it on, turn it off based on your setting. Easy apply. Do you really want it? I always suggest people no, absolutely no, because it sends the profile, and you know what, resume needs to be customized, and I would highly suggest that you not use that. And as a job seeker, I have done that because I was too lazy to update my resume, and I just like, you know what, if they want me, they will figure it out. They know my profile, they will do it, you know what. And the last thing I saw was the good thing that I saw that they viewed my profile, fantastic, but did I get a call? Absolutely not. Why not? Because my profile is not customized as the resume. So it's always a good idea to always customize your resume and upload it and send it to directors or, you know, the recruiters anytime. Easy apply is no, unless you don't care about losing that job. You're just applying for the sake of applying. But do you really want to do it? No, right? So that's where the place is. It's PDF and doc and everything. You know, use whatever. I always suggest use the doc because we don't know if they have an ATS tool on the other side. You know, other side. Always suggest doc using it. But if it says PDF, if you're okay with it, you know, go ahead and apply for that as well with the PDF. So the other thing is, this is where the networking comes in. I used to do a lot of networking, when I was a job seeker. And sometimes I would find someone that, you know, within that company, like let's say, who can help me out, or mutual friend, whatever it is, and I'll forget about what the person does because I had to put the strategy. I had my script and sample. How do I use with the different people, and then I would go back and see it again. So going back and forth, and maybe the other person would look like I'm stalking them, right? So be careful on it. So what I started doing was I started copying what the person did right away, and then I never had to revisit their, profile. So if you don't want other people to find you, then you can always go on a private mode. But the only cons of that would be, disadvantage of doing that would be, if recruiters are looking at your profile, then you know what, you would not probably know who's looking at your profile, right? So I'll leave that to you. How do you want to do it? But I suggest not putting in the private mode because you do want to know who's watching you as well. But at the same time, be cautious about visiting the same profile a couple of times in a day or a week, right? That's the alarm. And then again, so whenever you want to, like, these apply for some people, like, you know, who are, that one in particular applies to some of those who are passively looking for a job when you're still working. And if you don't want your the employers, whatever, maybe you have your managers or colleagues in the LinkedIn platform. So if you change any status, then they would get the alert. So you want to just, you know, shut that down by going no in there, and then they would not get any alert, and they would have no idea if you're looking or not. And that's what it is. Notify that. And the other thing is, by default, LinkedIn updates your current title based on the current role that you have. And you know, that's not your brand. I hate to see, even if you're working right now, to be honest, and if you're not looking for a job, if you're just, you know, want to be active in LinkedIn, why do you want to sell your company? That's a free marketing for your company. So that's not you. I would still highly suggest you to go and put the good keywords and headline and the value that you could potentially bring to the future employer. So that's who you are. LinkedIn headlines should be who you are, not putting your current title as manager of this. Yeah, but that stays an experience. But you want to avoid that, the industry, and just go ahead and put the keywords as well, regardless whether you're working or not. And then you want to shut the, whenever you're changing and editing anything, you want to shut that, the function share with network, so no one gets the alert on it. So recommendations that I briefly talked about it, always ask for recommendation. That's the references as well. That's your digital print. Someone knows you at least. That makes it feel better for other people. You're not just random people. It's all about digital print, and recommendations are huge. People can see, and stay away from those people, like, you know, that you don't know. And no one, I get sometimes random stranger asking me for, you know, the recommendations. I don't know you. Recommendations are something that should be only provided to the people that you know and you worked along with, and you know their work history, because that's your reputation online as well, right? So it's like a references, act as a references. And sometimes what you can also do is, some people are really busy, so why would they give you the recommendation, right? right? So if you really like that person when you're working with them, then how about you provide the recommendation for them? It's a give and take as well, right? So, and then you can also reach out to that person and say, hey, I'm targeting this industry, and I feel like I offer this. Do you mind writing the recommendation based on my previous work history and targeting this particular target market or industry, right? And they would be happy to do that, because if you provide the guidance, and you provide the sample of it, they would be happy to help you out, because no one has the time, right? Writing the recommendation for people takes time as well. Why should someone do it for you, right? So be strategic on that. And let's go with the networking part. This is the sample. These are the sample that I sent it out when I was a job seeker. And I'll tell you something. When I'm telling you that as a job seeker, I got a lot of rejection. That's really true. And being in a hiring role for more than 12 years in an industry, in a top bank, and I used to do the resume screening, phone screening, and everything pretty much. I struggled as a job seeker. And the reason being is it was all new to me. No one teaches you how to look for a job. What are the strategies? Everything you feel like is, you know what? I have 12 years of experience. They need me more than I need them. They want me so bad. But did that happen? Absolutely not. It's not going to happen for you, because there are thousands and millions of people wanting the same title, and you got to put the strategy behind it. You have to target the company first. I would suggest you to target the company, at least 20 companies in advance before the job posting even happens. And I did all of that through LinkedIn. Finally, I developed my framework and it started working, and I figured it out. And that's when I realized this system is broken. If you're one of those who are applying for a resume, even though you hire people like me, resume writer, I do resume writing as well. I teach them how to write the resume as well, which is fantastic. But you know what? My resume is not going to guarantee your job. You know what guarantees your job is networking and your interview skills. And there are so many things. LinkedIn is part of job search strategy. Resume is part of job search strategy. There's no one way to get a job. You have to mold it all together. And so when I did this, so best thing to get a job is using the mutual friend and referral, because guess what? Everyone trusts their referral. I mean, why would I did that as a hiring manager. Whenever there was a posting coming out, before even posting came out, I used to approach my trusted people. I would say, do you have anyone, on this particular area? I am hiring for someone. And I already knew so many people because of mutual friends. So how did I miss that when I was a job seeker? That was a moment for me. I realized this is not going to work for me. And when I did the framework, that absolutely worked for me. And this is one of the examples. So what happened with this was, I had a mutual friend working with me in a bank. He was a CFO of my company before, and I had a great relationship with him. And he served as a reference as well. So he trusted me. He believed in my work ethic. So then I moved from Toronto to Sudbury, which is like, Toronto is a city. It's like a New York, city. I moved from Toronto to Sudbury because of my family needs. And then it was tough for me already. So I had to basically start from scratch. Not a lot of company out here, but I targeted some companies based on my framework. And then I had no idea about that company. I researched and I found out that this company is going to hire soon. So my strategy was, before the job posting even comes in, I want to get in there. Every time I targeted someone, it was not about me wanting the job right now after posting. It was all about, I want to be known before the job posting comes out. And this is one of the examples. So I reached out to one of the CFO I worked together with before. I said, hey, do you know anyone in that company? I'm trying to build the network. And then he said, I don't know, but how about you try this, right? And I approached this guy through LinkedIn. I said, hey, do you know anyone, right? And I did the name dropping. Name dropping is the must, because he already trusts that person. That person told me to go to that person. So name dropping is a part of strategy, but you have to do it in the right way. You can't just name drop without permission, right? And I did that. And then this guy's I don't have to sell him. He looked at my profile. My LinkedIn was optimized. He knew it. And he was a VP of whatever. And then he said, you know what? I actually know the president of that company. And what happened was, this guy said, let me introduce you. And I went in, they introduced me. Guess what happened? I went to their site for a tour. They literally invited me. Recruiter invited me and said, let's chat. I went in there, they gave me the site touring, they had a role, which was a step down. I said, this is not the role I'm looking for. I'm looking for something more than that. And they said, okay, keep on waiting then. And I was volunteering for a while. I was not in the country, so I left. So then they reached out to me once the role was out, but I was not available. I could have had that job. It's okay, that's fine. I moved on, but at the same time, I got the information interview. They told me to apply for the job, but I was not interested. And also I got the site touring that I got to know the environment and culture of the company. And I'm still in touch with them. And later on, when I worked as a job developer in nonprofit, I used to refer my client, job seekers, to them, one of the director. I built the relationship with them, right? So think about building the relationship and knowing what you can do for them. It's not about I want the job. It's all about how I can help you. So that was the coolest example that I wanted to bring in. This is one of the examples. I have tons of it. So the other thing is, I was targeting this company and look at my scripting. So I said, I already built connection with this person way in advance. Keep in mind, I didn't wait for a job posting. I reached out to this person way in advance. And then this person accepted my invitation. So there was, when you reach out to the person, you're not asking for a job. That's a no-no. You are going to go and see what they do and basically tell them why you want to connect, which is like, you're a really true professional. I'm looking for something in your area, whatever it is, how can I help kind of thing, or can I volunteer, whatever it is, right? Or I've read your blogs or posts. It's amazing. And this stood out for me. I'd like to be connected, right? So that's the strategy you're going to put in. And then this person accepted it. And guess what? I targeted this person knowing that I want to work for her. I want to report to her. I did a lot of homework. That's called stalking. In a nice way, you're stalking. It's going to take time to learn how to stalk people in LinkedIn to get to the right person. I knew already she was a hiring manager. Strategically, I didn't say that she was a hiring manager. And she said to me, I'm a hiring manager. I reached out. I said, I saw the ad. I wanted to apply for ad, but there's one catch on the ad because it was a healthcare industry, but I came from the corporate world. So I didn't tell her that. But did I want to waste my time applying for the job that I might not be the right fit or going through that process? No. So I wanted to reach out to her directly, and I want to pass that resume through the ATS tool so that she knows me. So we chatted, and she said one of the criteria is healthcare. But she said, you know what? Put it through anyway, put it through. But I didn't want to put it through. But I built relationship with her. So I got to the hiring manager without even applying online. If I was the right fit, if healthcare was not the one they were looking for, I probably would have gotten a job or at least the interview, right? Who knows? So right strategy matters. So the other one, this lady, VP of Human Resources, and this is nonprofit. Let me tell you. So I resigned after I got the job in Sudbury in a banking world as a management team. I resigned because I didn't like it. I said, you know what, I'm done with the corporate world. I'm going to go and do the nonprofit. I was doing this teach and do on the side anyway, kind of like consulting anyway. So I was like, I'm done with the corporate world. I want to do something meaningful, impacting job seekers. I can share the knowledge, and so I can sleep in the peace. I really wanted to do it. But every nonprofit world, they wanted the social degree. I don't have a social degree. I had business admin, right? And I'm from corporate world, no experience from nonprofit. And I don't have experience in counseling and everything. So I put the strategy together again. I reached out to her, and then, this is my first email without actually asking for a job, but slightly hinting her what I'm looking for. And later on, after a couple of conversation, I told her I want to volunteer. I truly wanted to volunteer and give back to the community. I wanted to do the resume and everything because I had that knowledge already, and I was already heavily involved within the immigrant community with the coaching and interview and resume from years and years ago, and I showed her that side of me. So they thought, okay, come for volunteering. And then they asked me, when can you join? And I said, whenever, but I had to do the reference. They had to put the reference. They needed my reference. They wanted to do the police check and everything for nonprofit. That was too much, but I wanted to do it because I wanted to help out. And then guess what happened? And then I called her. I said, I'm ready. Can I meet? Can I see the office? And can I meet? Can we have chat for a couple of minutes? And then she said, yes. And we talked. I got all the inside information. She was going to retire soon. They're looking to move the team, and like so many information I would not have gotten. This lady, I built the connection for a couple of months, going back and forth, building the connection without asking for a job. And my target was to get a job someday in here. The strategy was to volunteer in there because I knew that they would be hiring volunteer, soon. So then what happened? Next, the hiring manager emails me, sends me the message saying that we have a job for you. The job's not even posted. And I am the candidate. I got an interview. I took a job nonprofit as a job developer. I did it. And then later on, I resigned because I wanted to fully focus on teaching do anyway. It was getting too much for me. But, this is mere example of it. I got so many job offer without job even being posted. And that was a part of my strategy. My resume got picked up too, mind you, from the role that I applied in different worlds. I negotiated the offer. I turned down the offer. Where was I when I was looking at the job in Job Seeker? My self-esteem was really, really low. And when I started following my own strategy and applying for myself, I figured it out and I got tons of offer, and then job was not even posted. And that's what the LinkedIn is all about. LinkedIn and networking is all about not asking for a job, but targeting the decision maker because they're all in there, and then building the relationship. It's not about I want the job. It's all about how I can help you. I bring this. When is the next event coming up? I even did the photography for one of the university here, not asking for a job. I went to meet the director, and it was information sessions. I said, you have an event coming up? Do you need anyone for social media? I can tweet. I can do whatever. I'll bring my SLR camera. I'll do for you. I did that. And guess what happened? Anytime I wanted the information, because he was in Sudbury, I did not know people in Sudbury. Whenever I saw any posting or whatever it is I wanted to target company, I would reach out to him. He was my mutual connection, and he would introduce me to the hiring manager. Hey, Sweta is looking for this. So it's not about getting things from them. It's about helping them so you can use the same help in future. So now I'm going to leave this slide, and I think I'm done. I don't know, I'm fast or timely manner. I think 11:46, I'm on dot on. Other than that, I'll leave you guys with the questions on. I'll stay here.
Thank you, Shweta. So everyone, I think they already started typing some questions in here. Okay, so Shweta, you can look at the questions. So Harpreet has a question here. Can you share the link of the website that you used to create the background images? I'm assuming they're talking about your LinkedIn.
Canva.com. Okay. Let me see here. Canva.com. So right there, canva.com.
Awesome. Okay, and so do you recommend to include awards obtained in the country of origin, or should you only talk about accomplishments and awards in Canada?
Everywhere, doesn't matter. Awards in, I would put everywhere, from everywhere.
Awesome. And under skills and endorsements, should they list skills that they're currently developing or skills that they are like excelling at?
Anything that you know.
Perfect. And are LinkedIn certificates recognized by employers?
Sorry, it cut me off.
LinkedIn certifications, are they recognized by employers?
Absolutely. You can put it on the resume in LinkedIn. That's what it's there for.
Perfect. And what if somebody's not in the country yet, but they're moving soon to Canada? What should they put in their profile summary?
Moving to Canada, meaning I'm assuming you have a PR already. So there are key things you can do. You have to be honest, you have to be here before you start to apply. And there are people, what they do is they're going to say, willing to relocate to Canada. Like, there are different things you can do, but I wouldn't suggest you to put anything in there, because if you come up in the recruiter search, they want you, then you're not here. It's going to be very difficult for them to reach out to you. It's an international, number. You can put the friend's address. If you are landing in a couple of weeks, you can put it in there, providing the fact that you're going to be living in here. You have a permanent address. You've just, done everything. You know the address, put it in there where you're going to live. But if it's long, then I would just not put anything in there and just put everything when you come in here.
Thank you. And can you, okay, I think we've already covered this one. Does internship experience count as actual experience? Should that be put on your profile?
Absolutely. Internship, I would put it as an actual one. What else not, experience? Yeah, go for it. That's a job you actually did. So what, you didn't get paid? Yeah.
Thank you. And how soon should you start applying for jobs before coming to Canada?
I work with so many people who are going to be landing soon kind of thing. So what I tend to do is when I work with their resume and LinkedIn profile and everything, I do that in advance. So that way everything is prepped in advance, but I still want them to apply when they come in here actually, but build a network and everything before, way in advance. Don't wait until the landing date. Do everything, but start applying. Because if you're reaching out to the right people, that's exactly what I did. When I moved from Toronto to Sudbury, I lived in Toronto for more than 20 years. I came from the corporate world and I had no idea in Sudbury when I moved, which is only 5 hours away. So I started, because I knew that I'm going to be coming here, I started networking with my everything through there, but I didn't apply because the thing is that my resume would not be picked up. I didn't have address, anything like that, right? So when I came in here, that's when people knew that I was already here. So just apply when you're here, but build everything, personal brand and everything, resume and LinkedIn, everything way in advance, so it does not stop you.
Thank you. Okay, so if you're posting articles or information on your LinkedIn, is that helpful to get, I guess, noticed?
Oh my God, yes. Don't be a lurker, guys. I mean, liking is one thing, but no, like you have to be engaged. Like, let's say you wanted to target the particular company, and if you see really good article from that company, share with your point of view, tag someone that you like, so you can get an exposure, meaning maybe there's someone who posted within that company, right? Share that article for that person. So that way you're giving platform that person as well. You're kind of like helping that person and you're standing out as well. It's a part of strategy. Absolutely post it, but don't post it for the sake of posting it. Know what you're posting because you've been watched. That's your personal brand. Know what you're liking and get involved on it to stand out. Otherwise, they're all watching you, but what contents you're posting does matter. It's a strategy.
Thank you. And say, well, if you don't have any referrals or connections in Canada, how should you connect with the people of companies? Should you contact the HR manager of the company directly on LinkedIn?
Absolutely. So, I mean, if you don't have referral, you know what? It's exactly the same thing for people living in here too. For me as well. Yeah. So what? I worked in the corporate world for 20 years. I had no network when I lost a job. I had all the network within the company I was working with, but they were nobody. But then I started strategizing. Can I use them as a network? Maybe they know someone else, right? It's a part of the channel that you're going to have to use it. And if you feel like you have so much to offer, I would not reach out to a hiring manager with app. Like, honestly, asking for a job, asking for a referral is a no-no. Focus on relationship. Try to connect with them. Try to look at their profile and not ask the job. Like, they probably, if you have a good LinkedIn optimizations, it's really good. You already have a personal brand built in. They already kind of know you. And you have those people. So reach out to a hiring manager, obviously, without asking for a job. There's a strategy, there's a script, so many things involved, but without asking a job, you're asking for a job. I hope that makes sense. Without asking for a job, you're asking for a job.
Thank you. And what are the key things to consider when you are posting stories or anything on LinkedIn?
Sorry, what was that again? I was reading something.
If you're posting anything on LinkedIn, what are the things to consider?
Okay, so Here, I mean, like, I can talk about, like, as a job seeker, when I used to post, I wanted to post about the industry that I want to get in. I used to post about the leadership because I wanted to go into the leadership role. And I also was heavily involved in the nonprofit way, heavily involved with the community as well. I would post about the charity work that I was involved on and partner with it. And so my brand was all about, okay, well, you know what, she's actively involved in the community, so what, she doesn't have a job. So I started selling myself with, listen, even if I don't have a job, I'm busy giving back to the community and I feel good about it, right? So what you share is all about what you want to be known as. If you want to be known as that particular individual in that industry, if you are good at fraud, you are really good at fraud or AML in banking industry, start sharing, go join the group, start talking to them and offer valuable advice. And maybe you've done something, maybe you, like, they need your help, whatever it is, engage with the group. Followers means nothing. As a job seeker, stay away from collecting the followers who's not going to be giving you a job. You got to target the decision maker. I see a lot of people posting content and everything. They don't have a job, but they're wasting time in collecting the follower, liking this comment, commenting on this comment. No, you got to be strategic about it. You got to have a decision maker, that buy-in from decision maker. Followers are not going to give you anything if you're looking for a job.
Okay, thank you. What should you include for your current position if you're not currently working?
Oh, I went, probably want to go back to the slide later on and then see it. But briefly, if you're not working, you're going to put, if you're not working, you probably have something going on, courses or volunteer, whatever, you can put it in there. If not, then current title that you wanted to, let's say next director or directors of healthcare or, AML analyst, whatever title you're targeting. And that way you can end up in a search as well, if that's the title you're targeting.
Thank you. What are the advantages of LinkedIn Premium and do you recommend it for job search?
For job search, I would not pay. If it's free, absolutely go ahead and do it, but make sure you make the best use out of it, get the lessons and everything. I didn't get the LinkedIn Premium because I felt like I used everything I wanted in the basic, but if you're not using anything on a basic, chances are you're not going to use it in Premium either. But if you're one of those who want to take the lessons and everything, then go ahead. But I would not recommend you to pay a fee if you're a job seeker to get that.
Thank you. And are there anything such as hashtags or anything that could increase engagement?
Absolutely. So remember, first slide I showed you how you can trend it was hashtag. I was using the right hashtag, right? So if you're one of those who are writing the post or content regarding fraud, you can use the fraud. And there's like, you can Google it. What are the popular hashtag on it? Social media is one of them. You can Google it and see what makes sense, and you can trend it accordingly. I mean, trending doesn't really mean anything, but at the same time, you kind of like have a feeling of someone is reading your content, which makes you feel good about post. That's kind of like motivation, right? And use 3 hashtags on a body maximum, because other than that, LinkedIn doesn't really care.
Okay, thank you. I'm just going back to questions here. Okay, so what location should we put if you're open to different locations before you come to Canada?
Oh, I think we talked about it. Location would be wherever you're residing right now, and I'm not going to be telling you to put the location you are not in, because that's basically lying, right?
Yeah, thank you. And just going through. Okay. Okay, I think we've answered a lot of these questions that are being asked. Okay. Do you recommend talking about conferences and webinars that you attended as well, so that there could be a lot of those?
Absolutely, yeah.
Everyone, sorry, 1 second. Everyone, could you please not type into the chat if you're asking questions? Questions are in the questions, the Q&A tab, please. Thank you. Go ahead, Shweta. Sorry about that.
Okay, so yeah, absolutely. I would recommend you to, I took a lot of advantage. I used to take webinar from Access as well as a job seeker, and that's exactly why I'm here today, because it benefited me, because they invite industry expert, and I learned every time, even though I knew so many things, every time, every presentation, I walked away with a couple of tips on it, right? I always attended those, especially the free ones, and honestly, I never paid for any webinars, any conference, anything like that. I'd rather invest in myself, hiring people who can help me, right? And investment is something that you can walk away with it. I would rather invest in myself than attending the webinar and stuff like that, who can personally work with you together.
Thank you. So there are a few more questions, but we don't want to take too much of your time, Shweta. Thank you so much today. So if anyone has more questions, you've got Shweta's information on the screen. Feel free to reach out to her and ask her questions that were not answered, or if you'd like to connect with her anyway. Everything is there on the screen over there. Shweta, thank you so much for today's webinar. Is there anything you'd like to add before we log off today?
No, not at all. So if for those of you who want to connect with me, LinkedIn has 30,000, limit on it as a connections. I'm over that, but I would appreciate if you want to really connect with me, then and if you're especially landing in Canada, you're already in Canada tuning in, then you know what, if I can help in any way, send me the personalized invite, say, maybe tell me why you want to connect with me. That would help me, because I probably would not accept the blind invite. And if I don't see you're in Canada already, I only accept the Canadian invites now, or someone who's landing in Canada, where I offer my valuable advice. And I do the online course and everything globally, but because I'm maxed out, I'd like to focus on Canadian job seekers or those who are going to be landing soon. I work with a lot of immigrants. So please send me the personalized invite saying that you attended my Access webinar, so I know I can connect with you, okay? And that's all.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Shweta. I hope everyone has a great day or evening ahead, and you as well, Shweta.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye. Bye, everyone.